Hey y'all, pproteus here, back for another one draft on Arena. This first pack, a couple things stand out here. I see Justiciar, which is kind of core of the white decks that I like to draft. I see a couple of good green cards that are very reasonable things to have, and not much else I want. There's a black removal spell that's fine. There's a blue removal spell that's pretty good. There is this white card that it's rare, it's playable, but it's pretty clunky. I think I'm going to take Justiciar. This card is too important in the decks that want it to... It's basically I'm taking it because it's the card I will most likely miss if I'm in the correct deck for it. Pack number 2, kind of a weak one here, and I'm going to take your convert because it is colorless. It's fixes your mana. It's a toxic 2-drop if you need that. It's an artifact if you need that. It kind of does a little bit of everything. Colorless, so you can play it anywhere. The only other card that really catches my attention here is Chimney Rabble, which is one of the top commons in the set. But that one's colorless. This one's colorless. That one's red. So we're gonna take the colorless one, so we don't have to make a choice yet. Pack number 3. This pack seems also kind of medium. 2 cards stand out to me. There's a green removal spell and a white toxic creature. And really, those are the only 2 things I think are worth considering. I have been quite liking the toxic decks when they're open, and this is the best common 2-drop in those decks. So I kind of want to take it. Whereas the Predation, yeah, it's good in the red-green decks, but the red-green decks kind of don't need Predations, even though they will play them. And that makes me feel good about taking the Duelist. And getting another one makes me feel good about taking the first one. So I'll just slam a second one. Wasn't anything particularly good that we're going to miss in that pack. There was, a rare that was fine, but not great. And then in this pack, everything has dried up. I don't see a white card I want in my poison deck. In fact, I don't see a card of any color I want in my poison deck. Really just 2 things that look reasonable here. There is Battle Chair and Mesmerizing Dose. There's a pretty good argument to go for Battle Chair because it is kind of unique. But Mesmerizing Dose, I don't know though. We don't have to be blue. We don't even have to be white poison. It's early yet. Here I will slam Planar Disruption though. Planar Disruption is its best white common. It's incredible. No reason to mess around with that. Next pack, here we see Agitation Rapture. And then there is this rare, which is definitely a playable card. Is it great? It really isn't great. I'm going to take Rapture. I feel like these blue cards there have been a lot of them, and they're coming around, and blue might be quite open if this continues to happen. We don't need to play blue, but again, we just don't need to play white. Porcelain Zealot here in pack 8, so this is the first wheel pack that everybody at the table has seen. This is quite good in Toxic, as it kind of just gives you a +2/+2 that never goes away. Easy to slam this guy and feel good about our choice to draft white poison. Now I'm more likely to say that I want to stick into that, not move away from it. Justiciar, playable in that deck, but not necessary. Convert, obviously very good there. This pack has not much. This card says Toxic on it, but it's really not a card you want in the white-green Toxic decks. So I'm going to take the rare. Maybe we'll play it. Probably not. I don't think it's very good, but we might play it. Might happen. Next pack, this card also says poison on it, but it is too hard to turn this on. I'll take it. I'll take a Possible Invasion. Probably not playing it unless we are very unfortunate. Complete Devotion, that's a great card. The white Toxic decks, they definitely want tricks, and this is probably the best trick that you can get, because it's a 2-for-1 always. Here, I guess I take Shrapnel Slinger. This is the best card in the pack, even though red does not look open in the slightest. Okay, so pack 1 I think has gone pretty well. Do we have anything busted? Not really anything busted at all going on. But we have a strategy in mind, and we haven't even picked a second color, which is a good thing and not a bad thing. It means we can wait and see what wheels to play the blue cards, because we're clearly going to be able to pick up a white core, or we could do something else entirely. This pack has 3 cards that are worth considering. Let's talk about the red card first. Volt Charge is very strong, and it is a good reason to be in red. If we were being past this and saw this in the middle of the pack, we would say, oh wow, this signal red is wide open, but at this moment, that is not guaranteed. 2 other cards we want to look at are these 2 white cards, and I'm going to take the one in this instance, the one that says poison on it. Blooded Ambassador is definitely a better card, but if you are playing the white poison deck, you know, having crawling courses is in many instances kind of important. But if you wanted to go the other way, I'm not going to tell you you're wrong, because Blooded Ambassador is an extremely strong card. It's very good at blocking, and kind of can shut down whole boards by itself. Here we're going to take in Sergeant Glider. This is kind of the one white corrupted payoff, but it's a good one. I'm gonna slam that one, and then stop here because I'm not sure what to take. The best card in this pack by a mile is Bard Batterfist. But is that the best card for us? Unsure, because we're not really drafting red, are we? And there aren't any really red poison cards, even though you can play this with poison, and it's fine. If I take this, what do we pass? We're passing a couple good black cards, passing a good blue card. We could end up in blue, could end up in black, but we just don't have huge reasons to be in either. I'm gonna take the red one and think about it later. I'm sure when we wheel that, if we wheel one of the good cards, that may tell us what we should be doing in the draft. Pick 4 in the pack, Flinching Raptor, easy. I think something that's important in this format is that a lot of the 2s are really strong and the 3s are weak. There are like a couple good 3s. There's Vorak and there's Raptor at common, but most of the 3s are just quite bad, and the implication of that is that when you get 3s that are above average for your deck, you have to kind of jump on them, because yeah, you can play the replacement 3s, but the replacement 3s are not generic. They're generally very deck specific. So you gotta take yours, because the replacements otherwise are gonna mess up your curve. I'm going to take here Duelist of Deep Faith over the Slaughter Singer. Slaughter Singer is really, really good, but I don't want to take it and then not end up playing green when I can take this white card I know I'm going to play and I know is going to be really good. I'll do it again. I will take basically as many of these as we can get. Card is great. Here we'll take a Porcelain Zealot over basically nothing, so I didn't really talk much about that, but that's what it was. It wasn't close. Here is a Crawling Chorus, and I am slamming that. I am looking at this Sentry, though. This is at least a little bit tempting. We have some artifacts here. This is an artifact. This is an artifact. This is an artifact. This dies into an artifact. It's not too late to do the artifact thing, but no reason to pass Crawling Chorus. Blooded Ambassador Wheels, and oh my god, you see it. White is completely open. We'll pretend this is a 3-drop, and we'll be fine with that. So no white cards here. The best, we could take a blue card like a Chrome Prowler, or even this Divination, or we could take Hazardous Blast, which does go well with the poison theme. I'm not sure what to do, and unfortunately I had to make a decision very quickly, so I picked one. We're not going to play any of these things. We do have now a lot of 2s, so we are unlikely to play any 2s unless they are Toxic or Incisor Glider. Unless they are really, really good. Blooded Ambassador is good enough to count, but anything else basically not going to count. So Surgical Skull Bomb, quite a good card. Oh no, we've run into this arena bug where a card becomes invisible. Oh dear. That's fun. I was just trying to talk about it, but there it's okay. Never mind. We're gonna ignore that. So here we got some fun things going on here. We have Duelist number 5. I will absolutely play Duelist number 5. Got Charge of the Might. That's great. Got a Flesh Cutter. I definitely will play that. It's quite good with Duelist, the Deep Faith. Here we're going to take Argentum Masticore. This is a kind of bomb rare. It makes you discard cards, but it just turns your discard cards into removal. And it's got First Strike, 5/5, and it just shuts down the board by itself. It's very difficult to remove. Taking it, it's going to be good. Doesn't matter that it doesn't have Toxic. Doesn't matter that it's 5, which is kind of expensive. This pack, we can slam Flinching Rapture, also would slam Indoctrination Attendant as well. They're fairly close, I think, but in this particular situation, as you can see, we have lots of 2s, we're fine on 4s, we don't have enough 3s, so we're going to take this 3. And maybe wheel the Attendant. You know, if you can wheel Blade Ambassador, anything can happen. Passed a couple quite good black cards there, Anoint and Drown. Both really good things that I would be happy to run. This pack here has just this year as the one white common left that I would actually want to play. And that's it. So the decision here is I think I'm going to take the gold card. It's a little bit tempting. I don't love this card, but it's pretty good. The alternative is you could take blue card, but despite me hyping up some of these blue cards a little bit by talking about how they're synergistic with the game plan, I'm not sure all 3 of these are as good as like one actual corrupted payoff. Here's another one of these Evangelists, but easy crawling course because we don't know if we are going to play back. Definitely taking the crawling course. Want as many of these as I can get, and wow, I said that too late. I was too slow. We got a 4th one. That pack was just not close at all. This pack here has a 3rd Porcelain Zealot and a Basilica Shepherd, and I think Porcelain Zealot is probably better in a vacuum, but it is awkward in multiples because it itself doesn't have Toxic, so you don't want to have a hand with like 3 Porcelain Zealots in it. So I'm going to take the Basilica Shepherd. I think that's quite a good hit. Here's Complete the Devotion. You can just very happy to see that. Oh wow, we hit a 2nd Planet Disruption. This is the 4th Porcelain Zealot we've seen in this draft, and I would also snap up that Complete Devotion as well. Can't have them all. So as I was saying, I definitely wanted a 5th Duelist, but Charge the Mites is better. So we're going to take Charge the Mites. That was the first pack that we saw all those things. And this is the Indoctrination Attendant that I said I wanted to wheel, and we did. Everything seems pretty open. Oh, geez. I have to make a decision here between... So I don't think we're going to play this just here. So I'm just going to take Raptor in case I want to talk myself into playing blue. Because I just don't see us playing that just this year. And Hazardous Blast I'm taking here in case I want to talk myself into playing red. And that's the draft. Now I'm going to have to decide how to build this deck. And this is a complicated one. And here we go. Here are the white cards that I really wanted to play. It turns out I don't think this is all that difficult after all. I just put in the 23 white cards that I really wanted to play, and there were exactly 23 of them. Now, we could just run this as mono white. I ideally would like to run a deck like this with 1 fewer land. Especially because we have no like mana sinks. We don't have any of the sack lands. We don't have any way to throw things away, and we got like, well, we have 7 2-drops and 4 1-drops. But the problem is that the cards that we played don't really fit the weaknesses of the deck. So we could cut a plains and add a Justiciar, which would just be another 2-drop and not very necessary. We could get it for Apostle of Invention, which would be, well, that's strange, getting a land for a 6-drop. That just seems a little weird. And then there's Norn's Wellspring, which I think is just not good enough to run. So I think we're gonna run it like this. This is come back here, Colin, first. Okay, we're gonna run this. Seems I don't know if I've ever drafted mono white specifically. I always commit to another color, but here it looks like trying to commit to another color might just make the deck worse. I suppose that being monocolored also encourages you to cut a land. But again, there's just no color I really want to cut a land for. I'm going to mulligan this hand. These are all good cards, but that's the deck. The deck is all good cards. We're going to mulligan in order to try to find a 1 and a 2. Because we put those cards in the deck for a reason, so we can draw them. I'm going to keep definitely keeping the 2-drop, and then I want to keep the Von Rare. So then I will keep 3 lands to try to get to the rare, and then this cantrip. Because I can see Charge of the Mites potentially not being all that great. Pity that we didn't get to open with a 1-drop. We have 4 1-drops. We're going to open with one. We're going to open with one of them a lot this league. Promise. Not this game, though. Let's poke in and see if they want to block. They did. Is this a good trade for me? I kind of just like making them do it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a great opinion over whether or not that's a good trade. See, the opponent appears to be on blue-green, which almost certainly the worst color in the format. Don't know if I approve of that one, but they can do it. That's a good card. Evolving Adaptive is a good card. Can they assemble something that blocks Duelist? Oh boy. Yes, they have done so. Okay. I don't respect blue-green in general, but all these cards are quite good, so no hate there. Indoctrination Attendant. Very nice. Kind of stalls up the ground. We've failed to out-aggro the opponent, but we got a rare in the hand. Argent of Mastercore is something that looks at least a little bit good about having extra lands in the deck, where you want to have the lands to get the Mastercore early, and then you can discard the lands to the Mastercore once you already have it. I guess another reason to like lands is because you can mulligan aggressively and then bottom the lands, and that's just not the worst, maybe. If we draw a land here, we're going to sign Mastercore. If we don't, we can go Attendant, bounce a land, and then replay it, and then play Crawling Chorus. I'm going to trade here, because this adaptive is going to get larger than a 2/2, and that will make life difficult for me. Probably don't want to. It's at least worth thinking about bluff attacking with the 1/1, but I don't think I want to do that. So I will now do the play that I described. Attendant, pick up land, play it again, play the chorus that they already know about. Here we go. Wonder if the opponent has any rares that can rival my Mastercore. Mastercore, notably, is kind of immune to the common removal in blue and green. They can't they can't mesmerizing dose it. It will just, the dose will just fall off. And it's going to be a little difficult for them to ruthless predation it because it is rather large. Here I can play double duelist. I don't even think I want to play the duelist because they cannot attack. If I attack with this attendant, I have to trade it for 3/3. I'm going to play one duelist. Basically, my opponent has played a whole bunch of good blockers, and I'm hoping that it will run out of steam. And my game plan is revolving around me playing Masticore and them not answering it. Oh dear, opponent has foreseen that my plan was to make them run out of steam, and is playing a draw 3. I am woefully unprepared to capitalize on that. That is unfortunate. I bet their synthesizer will be turned on momentarily. And also, look at this, opponent getting in. They are dealing the first poison, not me. Synthesizer guys are nice, but I don't see how I'm going to be able to do, don't see how I'm going to be able to turn it on. It's curved out a little too well. Just a little bit. And, you know, this sort of scenario is why, another reason why I like Fluncing Raptor so much. The white creatures in board stalls are kind of big and dopey and sit there, and having creatures that fly are actually kind of important. Okay. So they had the predation. It's annoying, but it's not actually that good. It just gives them a way to attack. I'm going to just offer trades. We're just trying to get into the late game, try to get the removal out of my opponent's hand. Yeah, so they traded their 3/3 for my 2/2, and their 2/2 for my 1/1. I don't think either of those were good trades for the opponent. The opponent could have bring the ending, which would be really bad for me here, but I think I have to go for it, and I did, and it was fine. If they don't have it, what am I supposed to do? Just never cast this 5? That doesn't seem right. It seems like that card isn't especially good, really, in any deck. It's even not that good somehow in the blue-black proliferate decks, although it is playable there. And as a consequence of all that, you have to ask, well, why are we doing this to ourselves? If we can, then why not do something else? So here you gotta ask yourself, am I afraid of Titanic Growth? I think they have something, although they don't necessarily have anything. I'm gonna be afraid of Titanic Growth. I'm just gonna do nothing. Even though their poor trades from a couple turns ago suggest they don't really have any tricks. The fact that they pass their turn doing nothing suggests they have some kind of instant, some kind of way to ambush the Masticore. This Masticore is so far going to look good enough that I don't want to do that. Perhaps after one more turn, or maybe 2 turns, whenever it looks like I'm going to have to discard a card and not kill anything with the trigger, then I might be okay trading Masticore for a combat check. But for now, I can discard this and say I'm going to trade my 1-drop for your 1-drop. Deal. My 1-drop wouldn't be able to attack through your 1-drop. And then here, I think I'm just going to attack. So we've reached the point that I was talking about. If they have Titanic Growth, we're going to be in trouble, but they don't have it. And so I was assuming they were going to Titanic Growth and block, but yeah, I guess if they want to eat a 1/1, that's also okay. So I was hoping that they would, if they did have that Titanic Growth, we'd be able to use that as an excuse to get in the 3 poison, and the opponent's corrupted, and the glider is turned on. We've not quite gotten that far, but on the other hand, opponent has nothing, so we're happy. Predation. Okay. And that was a 2-for-1. That was a 2-for-1. We got an extra card there. Okay. I'm less happy about that one. But the opponent is out of cards, and that seems like a very sketchy attack. They thought 2 damage on my face was more important than... That just seems odd. Why would you do that? Well, maybe they certainly have good cards in their deck. So like, here's the Augury. Now I'm corrupted. No attack. Okay, fair enough. I like Bouncing Raptor. Here's the Raptor. Is that an instant? I think it's an instant. I'm going to attack with everybody. I think it's a combat trick, so if they're going to use a combat trick to kill the duelist, they're going to take 3 poison. In fact, it looks like they're going to take 3 poison regardless. Serum Snare. Okay. Here we go. Opponent probably can no longer attack because their life total is, or rather their poison total is a little bit too high. Chase the Perfected Mind. Oh boy, so let's read this card real quick. It has -X, target player mills 3 times X cards. So let's look at my library total here. If they mill for 7, we're going to lose. It's also got a +1, give something -3, -0. Which kind of helps them protect itself. So what can we do here? If I attack them with all 3 of these things, they're going to block. They're going to take these 2. Go to 8 poison. I'm gonna chump attack here. And I'm doing the chump attack for the express purpose of getting them up to 8 poison where they are going to be in trouble. So I'm doing that because what they want to do when I play Bladed Ambassador is they really want to plus Jace target Bladed Ambassador because this guy can freely attack into Jace. Them minusing 6 targeting me is not quite going to kill me yet. Okay, they're using the -2. They have identified that they are in trouble. So I'm going to mill 3. A graveyard has 20 or more cards and you draw 3 cards. Otherwise, yeah, I don't think a graveyard has 20 cards. Although they have 15, so they're pretty close. So they're just cycling it because they realize they're in trouble. That's fair. That is fair. Oh, I realized I probably made a big mistake there. Because this gives them a free proliferate. And if they had proliferated that once, they would have milled me. I totally missed that. It's my fault. I'm not used to playing against this mythic. I'm also not used to playing against that card. I'm going to send my poison guys at the opponent's face and Bladed Ambassador at Jace. Game? Wow, nothing. Okay. Okay, you know, that's not a good sign that I made a potentially game-losing error in round 1. Not a good sign, but hey, we got it. Would have been a worse sign if I'd lost to blue-green. It's all good right now, I think. Playing against Atlas at bronze rank. We have 1 creature, but Devotion, both disruptions. If they don't have removal, this Crawling Chorus can potentially deal a lot of poison. Because we can get past 1 blocker with this, 2 with this, 3 with this. And it's a 1, so we may be able to get in for a couple points before they even make any blockers. Before they know it, they're at 5 poison, and if we draw a 2-drop on turn 2, which we have like 5 toxic 2s, then it'll be pretty trivial to win unless they have actual removal. It's got swooping lookout. And that's pretty funny because it is very tempting to Planar Disruption. Probably more reasonable to complete Devotion, just make this trade. Because I'd like to use my mana efficiently, and drawing another card is a good way to do that. Might draw another Crawling Chorus or something like that. Hoping the opponent doesn't have anything. Yeah, okay. Didn't think they would have anything, but definitely possible. No, they seem to have something. It's not the Quench. It could just be the Anticipate. There's Duelist. What you got? Is it the Quench? Bring the ending? Or maybe they just have a combat trick. That seems likely. I think they have a combat trick. So here they get to 3 mana. Blue, unlike the other colors, has kind of a large number of 3-drops. So not too surprised to see something good come down there. While this is good, it is not actually that good. We don't need to disrupt it right away. We can be patient because it doesn't block very well yet. They have to cast non-creature spells when they really want to be playing creatures so they can block. Alright, there's a good one. Experimental Augury, that is a good non-creature spell. But it's not a blocker. They're already up to 3 poison. We're going to disrupt that Trolldrake. And then I think just stop and attack with everything else. So I can play the Duelist. Seems right to me. The trick that they have could be... I think the trick they have at this point is probably the 2 mana, like, probably Complete Devotion, unless I'm missing a card. It could be the 1 mana blue trick, but they would have... I don't know. That would be a little bit strange. Opponent has Meldweb Strider, a little 5/5, which Planar Disruption can enchant artifacts instead of just creatures. So we can get rid of that, and they're dead. And this was how we drew it up. It's turn 6, and the opponent is taking lethal poison. We didn't generate we generated almost no card advantage. We just won by playing our cards in curve, and they traded up and dealt damage in the process. 2-0. Let's keep going. Let's do it again. White is, despite there being 3 like poison colors in the set, white is the only one that you could ever do something like this that would look reasonably good. It's the only one that has deep poison commons. Black and green they definitely have some good ones, but they're not deep. You can never make a curve out of poison commons just from either of those colors. There's just not enough of them. This hand has some of the good cards, but they're good big cards. It's really tempting to mulligan this, but we're also probably going to hit a 1 or 2 by turn 2. So I'm going to keep this in the interest of not mulliganing. Opponent is named Never Surrender, aptly named after match 1. And I see we're in one of those high mythic mirrors. We're going to start off with a Duelist and see if it gets quenched. Nope, opponent just doesn't have much going on. That's fine. Maybe they will play Eye of Malcolm. Oh, No, they played Malgador himself. Ooh. Okay, this is... Yeah, that's not something I want to play against. Fluncing Raptor, though, will be pretty good. Not lie, I would not have kept this hand if it didn't have this Fluncing Raptor. It is quite good, and kind of the key of winning games, that in a way that other cards in this deck just aren't. They can't keep up. Here we are going to, I think, just play a Zealot and have the Zealot pump this Duelist. So I want to cast Planetary Disruption on the Raptor. Raptor, you know, really good blocker. But what I don't want to do is I don't want to Planetary Disruption and do nothing for the rest of my turn. Especially because, you know, the opponent's like, they're missing land drops. So I've got 3 4s in my hand. I want to use my mana effectively. If we have ways to do that, we're going to do that. Opponents, you know, they're a blue deck. I assume that means they have some Chrome Prowlers in there somewhere. Eventually they will play some of those and they'll be good. So Planetary Disruption in Charge of the Mites. I could use Charge of the Mites as a combat joke to finish off the Golem. But I kind of wanted to just repeat the play from last turn. So Malgador, I guess I should mouse over it because it's kind of an unusual rare. You may not know what it does. The big play pattern with this card is not so much triggering the last ability, which, you know, it can sometimes happen, especially if you have cards like Basilica Shepherd that can make multiple artifacts in a turn. It can sometimes happen, but the big thing I'm afraid of is Against All Odds, which will blink it or recur it from the graveyard. And unfortunately, it's kind of difficult to play around that. If you kill it, it comes back, and if you don't kill it, Against All Odds blinks it. So you can't cover both options. This ordering blockers scenario is kind of interesting. I think what I want to do is kill the Malgador and the Golem, and then if they want to kill the Duelist, they're going to have to spend all of their counters, at which point the Zealot can buff the Raptor, and my Raptor can attack through their Raptor. Opponent decided to... Oh, no, sorry, they get a chance to buff after first strike damage. I was thinking, oh, they decided just not activate Raptor, but that is not the case. It is funny how many Raptors are in the set. They just got a Raptor versus Raptor. Opponent's got Malgador's Watcher. Again, does not have a land. This is... We could have Planetary Disruption the Malgador's Watcher, but I'm pretty sure they're just gonna... they're just gonna get out of the situation eventually. I don't think I can attack with the Zealot. It's presumably just blocking the Raptor, which is fine, and I'm not going to touch it. But I just want to check them because it's a free attack. Maybe I shouldn't, because they could have the 1 mana blue trick that I don't know. No one seems to play that card. Alright. Opponent has finally hit a land. Please do not have Against All Odds. Please do not play that card. That is much worse than Against All Odds. Ooh, and Sizer Glider. Jeez. Okay. So I could potentially attack for a lot of damage here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I could attack for 12 damage, kill both of their things. I don't really want to do that. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to save this Planetary Disruption in case they play extremely good blocker that I haven't thought of. I'm going to spend charge the mites to deal with the 2/3, so I can attack with my 2/2s without fear. Porcelain Zealot will pop this 1/1, so I can attack with the maximum number of creatures, again without fear. And this Raptor, who cannot kill any of my attackers, is not so scary. I block that, but they're going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Go to 4. Here is Insider Glider. Opponent is corrupted. They do not have enough mana that they can play either the White Sweepers. And Never Surrender has surrendered. Sweet. I did have fun. Alright, next game. This hand is much worse. It doesn't have a 3. It's got 4 lands. These are good cards, but you know, every card in the deck is good. This seems a lot better. We're going to keep 6, throw a land away. That way, if we draw spells, we'll be happy, and if we draw lands, we'll be happy. Sinew Dancer. I'm going to play the Convert, I guess. The Convert would discourage them from attacking, whereas because they don't want to trade damage specifically, I am definitely not attacking, because if I attack and then they make me play Complete Devotion and they got Titanic Growth, that would be awful. I expect they have something. So I will just save this, and the Convert will let me cast Masticore on turn 3, and hopefully, or turn 4, and hopefully that will be pretty great. If I attack with this Mirror Convert, what's going to happen? Probably going to block the 4-act, nothing good. Okay. It's Masticore time. I am going to attack with this Glider. I really would like to use this Devotion to cantrip, you know? Instead of just discarding it here to kill the Sinew Dancer. This seems dopey. Do I have a choice? I could discard the planes, and then I'm attacking with the Convert. I could attack with the Convert, basically, and that would be fine. And then no matter how they block, I Complete Devotion target the Convert. Doesn't sound the worst. Let's see if they want to chump. Okay, I will take this. I'm going to not play these. I could play a Duelist. I like having choices of what to discard. Something I play is not guaranteed to be able to attack, although maybe playing something that can't attack is fine, just because it means the Plague Nurse can't attack. So, for example, they could leave the Sinew Dancer back, tap Masticore on my upkeep, and hit me for 2 poison. I don't know. This is fine. This is fine. I also am thinking about, like, Planetary Disruption. Oh, wow, they're actually doing that play? They are actually doing it. I hope they don't have a Corrupted payoff. Pow. Okay, that's also fine. And again, I want to hold this. If they have a Planetary Disruption, I want to be able to play it. 4/4. That's a lot of poison. Do I want to hold this? The problem with holding this is now they have a 4/4, they might actually be able to Predation kill Masticore. So I 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh shoot! I just realized I made a mistake. All right, I'm attacking with Mastercard. I shouldn't have done it this way. I realized that they are threatening lethal poison, so I'm going to have to chump. And so I definitely should have attacked slightly differently. So I am able to threaten lethal. In fact, maybe I shouldn't have attacked with this Mastercore at all. Maybe that was a bit loose. Can block here, take 2 poison, go to 7. Well, on the plus side, opponent did not play Ruthless Predation. Slinger gone. And we're going to pass, and hope we don't get punished here. Axe Sentry does not do it, but does threaten lethal, so we're going to have to draw something here. So I'm going to have to disrupt the Brutalizer. If I had pumped the other guy, I would have been able to attack for, put my opponent to 1, and I think I still wouldn't have had lethal here. So now I have to lose the Mastercore, and I need a removal spell or something. I think we're dead. I think I made a mistake somewhere. Maybe I should have, changed my mind all that way ago when I had to decide if I should kill the Sinew Dancer. Maybe I should have just killed it the first chance I got. Maybe that's where things went wrong. Oh well. Try again. 3-1. We're fine. We are fine. Playing against God X Freebird. Never gonna mulligan a hand that goes Crawling Chorus into Duelist of Deep Faith and also has this. Oh. Nope, that's not what I meant to do. I don't hate drawing this, even though we can't cast it, because it just means we can't flood. Skitterfang. Ooh, I don't like Skitterfang. But, nice thing about playing Poison aggro is Skitterfang is not so terrifying. Oh, they can give Vigilance. Because we are the ones who are really good at racing. So I don't actually want to disrupt either of those. I want to only disrupt things that can eat a duelist. And, I think me hitting them for 2 is better than them hitting me for 2. So that's my whole plan. A huge amount of the Skitterfang power is either from giving lifelink to win a race or giving flying to get the last few points of damage in against a slower deck. And neither of those would really apply when I'm the aggro deck in the matchup, but I'm trying to kill them via poison. I could definitely block the Skitterfang. I just don't think the damage matters that much. We got these Crawling Courses that go to chump. We got... Do they have a trick? They probably have a trick, but I'm going to play Fencing Raptor, target the Crawling Chorus. Crawling Chorus. They can use their trick here. And, well, the fact is that they use a trick. The trick is not killing Fencing Raptor. And Fencing Raptor is now the best creature I have. Opponent just semi-happily took a whole lot of damage. They're given the Furnace Strider. Okay, so this is attacking for 8. I am feeling the pressure. I'm going to trade. I know I said my creatures are better than them, but this makes me a little bit uncomfortable where I could potentially die to like 2 Furnace Striders in a row. I'd rather this didn't come to that. I'm going to trade my 2/2 for theirs. And then we're going to disrupt that guy. Can't attack or block. Can't use its ability to give haste to something else. And we're not dead. Nice thing about this is they have second Furnace Strider plus 1 mana removal spell. We're not dead here. And that's why I did it this way. Opponent is now at 7 poison. They have to present 2 blockers and or removal spells, or they're going to die. Urabrask's Anointer. Okay. Anything else? Nothing. Okay, well, I'm gonna go for lethal and see what they have. Nothing. Okay. Sweet. Four and 1, I think. Time for another game. I'm gonna slam this. Mirror Convert does work when we got these nice big spells like Basilica Shepherd. Sweeping Lookout quite good against me. Doesn't block Duelist though, so I think we're just gonna get this Duelist on board. Playing against white-black, I think what this is basically is it's a poison deck that just decided to play a 1-drop. Because, you know, this is a good 1-drop. I already got annoyed with Sweeping Lookout once today. I could block here. Big problem with blocking is Complete Devotion. It kind of goes, that goes poorly for me. I don't want to trade my creatures out before playing the Zealot. I think I just take the damage. Usually though, with White Belly Rat, if you get a chance to kill it before the first hit, you really want to do that. Wow, they have... That's not a good sign. Did they play that because their hand is so good they didn't have anything else to do, or because their hand is so bad they needed to... Or, sorry, so good that they were okay throwing away a good card for 2 damage? Or is it so bad that that was their best play? They were looking for something better to do. I am trying to decide if I should be the attacker or the defender, and if I should be like, basically 2 lines here are play Duelist, next turn play Zealot and attack, versus play Convert, next turn play Basilica Shepherd and try to block. I think I'm going to lean towards the Convert, but there is definitely a big part of me that wants to go the other way. We'll have to see if they give a sign here of whether their hand is bad or good. That's also not really a great sign of whether the hand is bad or good. They did just play a 4 on turn 4. They tapped out, so I will block the White Belly Rat if it comes in now. So I could play Zealot, attack with Duelist as a 4/4. I could play Basilica Shepherd. Basilica Shepherd doesn't actually block Rib Skiff. I think I want to go Zealot here. And then... So my analysis of this Complete Devotion is that's still what's going on in my head. On the one hand, them playing that aggressively suggests they have more tricks in their hand, quite possibly a second Complete Devotion. On the other hand, the way they played that last turn, it could be read as, you could read that last turn as they don't have a second complete devotion because that's why they didn't attack. But they also just may not have drops. They may not have a good way to use their mana. And that would correspond pretty well with the bad hand scenario, where if they have a bad hand, well, then they have the Ripskip. They know they have to spend 4 mana on this turn, so they don't fall behind on tempo. So that again, they spend 4 mana casting Ripskip, and that complete devotion in their hand has to stay there. Indoctrination Tenant here, I think they just plain tapped wrong, because they could have tapped differently, bounced the lookout, and replayed it. Although, if that was the plan, maybe they should have done that post-combat? A bit confusing. So here we can still want to make the same attack, so I'm going to play this Crawling Chorus. And I'm doing this to kind of supercharge this Charge of the Mites to make sure that I can deal 4 damage. So if they double block, they can end up in trouble. Oh, I just realized the opponent might have Whisper of the Dross, and maybe that's why they tapped the way they did. Maybe the whole thing of them taking a while to act was just a ruse. They do have Whisper. Okay, but they're using it really preemptively, so they're going to deal 4 Ribskiff. They could have done this a little better. They could have used this, I mean, if they wanted to play around Charge of Mites, they could have done this. I realized this after clicking the attack button that they could have had Whisper. What they could have done is use the 2 small things to crew the Ribskiff, then the 2 big things double block, and then they cast Whisper. But they didn't do it like that. Interesting. I'm going to pay 2 life to cast this Duelist. Is the opponent more likely to kill me with life than poison? Probably. I think. Whoa. Okay, I'm glad I wasn't corrupted yet. They could have attacked if they wanted to corrupt me before playing that card. I think the play has been a little bit odd, to say the least. Here, I believe I want to Basilica Shepherd here. And that's because it's going to be a lot easier to kill them with damage than with poison. And Basilica Shepherd represents a 4-power flyer that's going to kill them from 8 pretty fast. Porcelain Zeal is tempting because then we can make 2 different 4/4 first strikers. And how are they going to deal with that? That seems like might be very challenging. Oh yeah, rewarded for doing it in the right order. As if they knew this Basilica Shepherd was coming, I bet they wouldn't have jumped with that guy first. They probably would have jumped with the Crawling Chorus. They're all fixated because they are a poison deck, complete devotion deck. Okay, I take it back. That's going to be good. It's going to be good against me. And also that too, maybe. Oh. Okay. That seems like quite an early concession. Not really necessary to concede there. But also we were kind of far ahead, so I don't not appreciate it. Doing well. Jeff DC. Snapkeep. As I said, never mulling a hand that does a Crawling Chorus into Duelist. Never gonna mull this. Pow, pow, pow. Oh, I'm excited. This is the kind of hand that's going to run somebody over. Especially on the draw. Versus blue tapland. I'm very happy to see blue tapland. Do you have a good blocker on turn 2? Maybe an anoint. You can anoint the Duelist. That would be acceptable. great thing about low curve decks. Maybe that's why I love this format, because I love playing low curve decks. The great thing about that is that you don't have many expensive things in your deck. So when you're in a situation like this, either we're going to draw a land and be happy that we've hit a land, or we're going to draw a spell that we can probably cast and be happy about that spell that we can cast. Let's just attack real fast. Doom Mover hit a land. So, you know, they're heavy blue. We're going to have to be aware of the Chrome Brawlers and Protection Raptors of the world. But we got a complete devotion. Ooh, Unctus. Ooh, Unctus is that's a strong card. I respect the Unctus. Unctus. Okay. I respect Unctus. I can still attack with Duelist. If I attack with Crawling Courses, it's too chumpy. But the Duelist can definitely get in for some damage, and I may have to stop attacking entirely. Unctus is I always forget the details. It's Artifact Lord. Let's blue creatures loot and pay a mana as a sorcery and add those blue and artifact attributes to their creatures. So it's better when you're attacking because, you know, that's how you get the becomes tapped effect. When they are facing a 2-turn clock like this board here, can't really attack very much. Retrofitter? Okay. So they've made a 5/5? Are they going to attack here? I kind of hope they attack. Maybe even pay. Basically, I'm hoping they attack because it's actually going to be difficult for me to get past this Doom Mover. I do not have a great way to do so. I'm going to put another Duelist onto the board. I realize that means that I'm tapping out of Complete Devotion, but I don't think it's a huge issue. I think it will all more or less be fine. Likely. Uh-oh. I don't like that one. Plan versus that card is Trumpet. Trumpet good. And they're also not equipping. I suggest they have... suggest is an understatement. That means that they have some kind of 2-mana spell, which could be the Anticipate, Expendable Augury. It could also be... could have been a counter spell, but I guess it's not that. That's more or less it. We don't have... I'm just going to bounce out land here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is 7 attackers. If 6 of them get in, we win the game. So this is... this is actually a point where opponent may not be able to equip the sword and attack, because it's not going to actually end well for them. They will lose to a Planar Disruption, for example. Nope, they're not falling for it. So I can play a Zealot, but the Zealot just doesn't enable any attacks right now, so I would rather not tap out of Complete Devotion. That said, I am not anxious to use the Devotion right now. I think I can just pass. Do you have a cat? I'm just passing with several mana up. Okay. I'm thinking of the card Chrome Prowler. So at some point I can start chump attacking. Attack with everybody. They go, eat your 3 biggest things, but they take 4 or 5 poison. And maybe Complete Devotion wins a combat, kills the Retrofitter. And we get in for... basically we're not at in any reasonable definition in danger of dying to a crackback. And if we're able to get in for more than a couple damage, that kind of seems like it might be pretty incredible. What have you got? Nothing? Should I be patient? I feel like I shouldn't be patient. Even though the opponent has demonstrated they have really nothing going on, I feel like I should not at all be patient. We're not in danger. We might become in danger and we might lose this board because now we're not going to be able to commit to the board. I should have played this land though. Not playing the land was an error. I suppose if they have a removal spell in addition, interesting. Okay, we can deal with this. I should have played this land in case I draw charge the knights. While sword is very good and it's a strong value engine, it doesn't actually win the game when it hits them. When it hits you in the face, it just draws you 2 cards. And given they're not using their mana, yeah, probably drawing 2 cards would help them. But I'm not sure it would really win the game from scratch. Oh, they got something. They got something. Is this complete devotion getting countered? Serum Snare. Okay. That wasn't a huge disaster, the Serum Snare. That was a 1-for-1, but a complete devotion is supposed to be a 2-for-1, so I'm still disappointed with the outcome of that. Opponent is at 8 poison. They definitely can't be attacking anytime soon. Okay. That makes sense. So, if they attack, we can chump the Crawling Chorus, but just like if they attack with one thing and then we draw Planar Disruption, they're down on board. What's the card in their hand? Don't know, but you get the picture. Porcelain Zealot. That's funny. It's not really good. So we attack with everything. They go block, 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 block. Porcelain Zealot doesn't actually enable any attacks, but we got to get it down. Got to get it down. Let's see what this card is. You're going to play it now, right? Even 2 Zealots don't really enable any attacks. What is this card? Is it... I don't understand what that is. Maybe it's Offer Immortality? Flying Sigma. That's such a great draw. Okay. It's just going to demand an answer. Bring the End doesn't work. I got 2 mana open. Not corrupted. So target this guy. And then we're going to jump it. And... oh, they're thinking they've got something. What do they have? I really want to know what the card is. They have some kind of instant in their hand. Take damage. Take it, take it, take it. What's that card? Alright. Okay, so a Knight with Affliction. I feel like they didn't have that the turn they played Serum Snare. Opponent is at 9 poison, and we have 4 poison attackers. They have 4 poison blockers. They're going to have to keep all these blockers back forever. Sword is definitely a really good card in this format. It might even be the best pick one, pack one in the format. I don't think you should ever cut it from a deck. But also, it's just not broken. You end up with games like this, where you've got the sword, and, the +2/+2 is not that bad. The protection is not relevant, and the damage trigger isn't relevant because you aren't able to get through. Oh, they're moving it over. Interesting. Now, why would you be doing that? Don't you know how risky this is? I understand if you want to loot. But don't you need that blocker? Because, see, I can chomp with the crawling horse. Still have exactly as many lethal attackers as I started with. Now you have to play a blocker or a removal spell. Yeah, that's a pretty good blocker. Oh dear. Oh dear. I've drawn a land. Alright, we actually might lose this game. So if I play this out, pump 2 things, attack with everybody, they can go... They can actually eat 2 3/3s anyways. Erg. Okay. This Archfiend will presumably pick up the sword and draw them 2 cards. I do think that was a pretty risky play by them, because if they, assuming they have the Archfiend in the hand, if I had drawn Planet Disruption there, they would have just died. But maybe they top deck the Archfiend. As is, well, now they're drawing 2 cards. They drew a 4/4 and a 6/6. Not good. So they're going to play one of those, and they're not going to be dead to Fencing Raptor. Or, sorry, they're not going to be dead to Planet Disruption, but they actually will be dead to Fencing Raptor, won't they? They only have the 1 flyer. Oh, interesting. They're going to play neither of those cards, because they get double spell. They get to pay 2 life to kill a 1/1. But that paying 2 life to kill a 1/1 is in itself kind of precarious, because that puts them at 3. And now these Porcelain Zealots become potential threats. But we need to draw, so this is going to be the last turn. Oh, okay. They got it. They got me. Fine. Not quite there yet. I was maybe trash talking the opponent's plays a little bit, but I think their overall game plan was solid. They didn't fall into the huge traps of trying to race me with the sword. They were very measured with that and got rewarded for it. 5 and 2. This is something. As I discussed, this card is very good, even though it's possible to lose games in which revolve around it. And so hands with 3 lands plus Convert plus Masterboar have a really high chance of playing the Masterboar on turn 4. And I'm just not supposed to say no to that. Opponent has also mulliganed. Interesting. Please do not kill my Convert. I need it. Peanuts. Okay. So I guess I'm supposed to take that damage. I'm going to try my best to race. May be difficult to race Chimney Rebels. We can try. Opponent attacks for 3, I attack for 4. It worked. Hey. Red green, ooh. That Ruthless Predation may have been their only way to kill a Mastercore. Of course, it may not be. They may have, like, Rebel Salvo, 3 mana deal 5. Definitely be maybe Rebel Salvo. They clearly have something. Can you take this damage? Here's a Mastercore. Please no Rebel Salvo. Don't do it. Okay, they don't have it. They have a trick. And the trick is limited to red trick, so it's going to be either Free from Flesh or Blazing Crescendo, and neither of those will make this block a bad idea, so we're going to make the block. Blocks that would make it a bad idea are Titanic Growth and what else? Titanic Growth and Tyvar Stand. There we go. So, notably, this ability can't kill tokens if we discard lands. That's definitely something to keep in mind. I'm going to discard the Complete Devotion, because I think the most important thing to do here is kill the sack so they cannot generate card advantage. And we're on the racing plan. On top of both of these, they don't have any profitable blocks for either of them. They're going to have to chump. And we can just play this Crawling Chorus for no fear, because the opponent's at 5. And having a second Toxic guy probably will be quite useful. Vindictive Flame Stoker. So that is lets them pay 7 minus X mana to draw 4 cards, discarding their hand first. Discard the planes, but yeah, they're going to be not able to use that yet. So we can discard planes to kill that. If we attack with this as a 4/4 for strike, we can kill. Actually, we probably can't kill anything because they have Free from Flesh. We have to remember they have that. So this is actually gonna die if we attack with it. I can buff the Crawling Chorus though and not worry about Free from Flesh. If it dies, then it dies. I don't know, maybe I should just be attacking with the Mastercore. What have you got there? I know their last card in hand, unless they're doing some insane bluff, is a 1 or 2 mana red card. It can be Blazing Crescendo, be Free from Flesh. So all I have to do is make sure that the first strike damage, I'm going to kill Chimney Rabble plus... Oh, I see the problem. No, I see the problem. This doesn't work. So whatever I put, I thought this was going to work. It's not going to work. They have Free from Flesh specifically, but I guess I should still order them like this to play around Blazing Crescendo. So otherwise, Blazing Crescendo gets me. Rip. Okay. On the other hand, they may have gotten out of that bind, but I now have 4 lethal attackers on the board, and that top deck is going to need to save them. Looks like we are killing with regular damage today. How bad is it if they have like a volt charge? The answer is not that bad. It's really just not that bad. They get to kill Porcelain Zealot, but then they have to like make multiple chumps. It's fine. I'm gonna pass priority here because Crawling Force is gonna kill them. Well, I mean, first, this is gonna happen in first strike damage. Ah, they're looting. It was a bluff. And we got him. Okay, 6-2, final match. This hand is interesting. It doesn't have a 1 or 2. But it's got like Flinching Raptor Zealot. Ooh, I don't know. I'm tempted. I probably should mulligan. Yeah, this is way better. The problem with keeping a hand where the best thing is a naked Flinching Raptor is sometimes you have to play the naked Flinching Raptor. And it's just not that good. It just gets, like, killed. Opponent didn't hit Gold/Duelist, which presumably means that unless they're being sneaky and pressing the control button, they have Free from Flesh. So, if so, they're being sneaky, then they got me. But if not, I'm going to play around Free from Flesh for the rest of the game. I'm going to play my 3 on turn 3. Poke. Here we go. I do love Flinching Raptor dearly. I really do. Opponent is mousing over my Flinching Raptor. Perhaps they have a fight spell. No, that doesn't make sense. Scrap Gorger can't kill Flinching Raptor, but maybe they have like a 2 and then a fight spell? Is that what's going on? No, okay. Plan a Disruption. We could cast this Disruption on the Predation Steward. Yeah, actually, I really want to do that. The reason I want to do this, I know it's kind of a waste of the Disruption, but it means the Duelist is going to get in here. Unless they want to chump. Okay. Okay, well, you know, I'm okay with that outcome. I got to use my Planar Disruption to kill 4 mana worth of creatures. You know, that's fine. That is fine by me. Oh, what I was gonna say, if they didn't chump, was, you know, they found it suspicious, that's why they chumped. But if they didn't, I was gonna say, well, here's the Incisor Glider. It's Incisor Glider. It's already turned on. Turns at 13. We got 5 power of flyers on the board on turn 4. That was gonna be the plan. But opponent wants to do it the other way, so we can do it the other way too. Only little problem is we might run into difficulty if the opponent has a good blocker. They were to play, you know, a 5/5. Fortunately for me, one has not played a 5/5. Oh, right, I said I was going to play around Free from Flesh, didn't I? Yeah, I'm going to keep playing around Free from Flesh. But it's not corrupted. Here is Incisor Glider. Also, just no cards in graveyard, so opponent cannot start putting counters on the Scrap Forger. It is important to remember that if they get counters on the Scrap Forger, that is so terrible. Alright, it's Myglaws. We're going to mouse over it. Myglaws has a bunch of abilities, one of which is pay 3, remove 3 all counters, so they can really only do it once, or I suppose twice, since they have Free from Flesh. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. I have 2 really good targets on the board, one of which is Insider's Glider. This is an artifact. And the other which is the Planar Disruption over here. And they can blow up either one anytime they want. Also, it's a 4/4, and I can't attack into it with the duelists. On the other hand, they're letting me make this attack. I didn't expect to get that far. Because they can activate, they can tap the Scrap Order for mana, pay 3 to kill Incisor Glider. That is something they can do from the spot. You know, my Gloss has some more text. They can spend 1 to give it Vigilance and Menace, which might be something they have to do because they need it back to block, because it's the only thing that's big enough to hold back 3/3 duelists, but they also need to put some pressure on my life total. I think they really, I don't know why they didn't use it on my Incisor Glider. They really could have done that here. They might just be gifting me this game by not using it. Of course, they may have a good reason for not having done that. But I just feel like they spent that 3 mana. They did nothing with the 3 mana. They could have spent them right there. And they also took 3 damage on last turn. That if they had spent 3 mana to activate, yeah, you could have done this last turn and not taken the 3 damage. And had 3 more mana to spend right here. Look, I respect killing the Incisor Glider, but I really am a little bit confused about what is in their hand that has made them play the game in this particular manner. I'm going to take it. It is, I guess, at least a little bit tempting to chump with the Crawling Chorus. If opponent... Oh, they're just casting the Free from Flesh? Interesting. So, Free from Flesh, you know, we get the benefit of the 2 oil counters, which I presume they're going to use to activate the 3rd ability to remove 3 oil counters. But they didn't do that. I'm going to attack with everybody and hope opponent does not have a second Free from Flesh. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, Blazing Crescendo. Okay, once again, opponent is giving me gifts here. They could have blocked first. They were really supposed to do that. I wish I had an instant to punish them, but I don't have an instant. Opponent goes to 1 life, 8 poison counters. They can cast this 5/5 Reach from Exile, so that'll probably save him a bit. Ooh, they gain 3 life. They found some life gain. They're not casting the 5/5 Reach. That means that Flinching Raptor is going to get in, and they're going to need 3 blockers to deal with, to not take another poison damage. So they can't attack with my Gloss. Okay, opponent's at 2 life and 9 poison. I have 5 poisonous guys. How are you going to deal with this opponent? Did we get him? Did we win this game? If we win on poison, then I guess, you know, maybe that was what the opponent was thinking about when they didn't use my Gloss and they took 3 damage. They were thinking the game was getting on poison. They weren't actually taking any extra poison by not using it then. So they might as well wait. And yeah, if we win on poison and not on damage, well, if we win on poison and not on damage, then they should have played the Resistant Skyward instead of the Oil Guard Control there. This guy. They're moving the Halberd. Maybe we should have chumped. Maybe we should have chumped that My Gloss. But it needs to deal with the Raptor. Need to deal with it, or they're dead. Okay, I guess they're dead. Wow. Well, you know, when the opponent stuck that My Gloss, I did not think this was going to be winnable in any way at all. But sometimes the drafts surprise you. Sometimes they just surprise you. And that's it. So what do I think of the deck? You know, did we flood sometimes? Yes, we did flood sometimes. But the card quality of this mono white deck was so high, it just didn't matter. We got there. Here's the trophy. And here's the deck list. Thanks for joining us, and I will see you next time.